Hi everyone. It's been a while since we spoke on here, and I'm super excited to bring in an amazing guest today. Actually, go. Good morning. How's everybody doing? Or good morning, good afternoon. I feel like we don't even know the time anymore in these days. Thank you all for joining. I'm going to bring in my guest now, and I'm super excited to introduce you all to her. So, here we go. Let's see. Let's see. Where is she? Hold on. Here we go. Okay. Go. There we go. Let's get started. So we're just gonna sign on, and we'll have her make an. Hi. How are you?
Good. Thank you, Jordana, for inviting me.
Of course. Thank you so much for joining us today. How's everything doing? Where are you in the world?
I'm in Burlington, Vermont.
Okay.
Yeah, and everyone here and family and friends are doing well so far. I think Burlington, Vermont, as of like yesterday, we had 0 people coming in for with the virus, so it's kind of good news, and
That's great news.
yeah.
Yeah. That's
So
awesome.
how are you?
We're doing good. We're in Florida. The lockdown is going to be extended. I think parts of Florida, they're allowing to release the lockdown a little bit, but
Yeah.
Palm Beach, where I'm at, they're going to keep it going for a little while longer. But we're healthy. It's all I could say right now, and
Yeah.
pray for really is the health. So, but
Yeah.
I'm really excited to have you on today, and I would love for you to introduce yourself. Tell us who you are, and yeah, and then we'll take it from there.
Well, thank you so much for inviting me here. It's my pleasure to be in this platform because I'm really new to like the garment industry and fashion and all that. I come with a perspective from being in the glass industry for the past 20 years. So I've worked with in Scandinavia and in Vermont with our glass factory, and we now supply glass lighting components to bigger design companies all over the states. So within that period of working for so long as a woman in a trade, I found myself wearing a lot of jeans and the occasional Carhartts and more jeans. And then I was like, where is the skirt? Where's the garment with like pockets and that I could also wear when I'm out representing the company, but also in my daily life. So I had an opportunity to do a test run of what we now call the maker skirt, which is a denim wraparound skirt that can hold your things, your stuff, your tools, and it also is size flexible and has all those good things, but kind of like what I was looking for all those years in working in my field. So
That's amazing.
that's now on the market, and it's fantastic to be. It's really interesting in those times also to learn about a new trade, and there's so much that's happening right now with fashion and sustainability that it's like it's really really exciting also from a little bit of like the activist in me that's like seeing fun. So yeah,
That's amazing. How long did you start? How long ago did you start?
I would say we developed the first prototype 2017. Yeah.
Okay.
And
Very nice.
I did that with a woman her name is Annika Axelsson, and she is one of the trailblazers of sustainable fashion in Sweden and Scandinavia.
Oh, very
So
nice.
that was a real pleasure to get to work with her and to
That's incredible. Yeah, and that shift of industry must have been interesting, and especially because the fashion industry, I think it's one of the most challenging to get into as a startup, right?
that's what I have understood afterwards. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. So
Once you're already doing it.
yeah, and I feel like it started out more as a mutual friendship and following each other's businesses growing, like me in Vermont and her like in Gothenburg, because I think I bought her first products maybe 2005. They were
Yeah.
doing they were doing the first fashionable, like nice cut, sustainable fair trade t-shirts in Sweden already in 2002, I believe. So I started buying mine, and then, as it went on, I just wanted to, those were the clothes they were my go-tos from her. So
Yeah.
by being in, contact over the years, we developed a nice relationships, and I have a lot of admiration for her work and her it's a life's work of, like, passion and
Yeah.
enthusiasm for a material that I have
Yeah.
no clue about because I work in another one. So
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
speaking of passion, it's interesting you use that word because I think we had our summit last week and the overall theme was really, having passion behind what you do. And also especially to drive us in this day where everybody's on lockdown and things are changing and it's scary. If you don't have the passion behind what you're doing, it's very hard to continue
Mm.
during this pandemic. So how has the pandemic, you being like, a small business, a startup, how has the pandemic, affected you? And is there ways in which you're adapting the current climate into your business model that maybe is new due to the pandemic?
Mm. I think at this point, I'm relatively small in my business, so I don't have a lot of overhead, and we also do smaller runs for like up to 500 pieces at a time.
Okay.
So I guess what changed is that I'm trying to be in contact with the production chain in Bangalore, with the team there, like every week, and see how they're doing, and trying to, so more than ever, like try to hear from them, like how are they doing, how they're keeping everyone safe there, what is their timelines and estimates, and also what are their wishes. Because one of the things that I really also appreciate working with them is that they are very um, uh, concerned about getting things done in the right way. And so I think the communication between me and the production team in Bangalore is what has changed. But
Yeah.
other than that, in the period of COVID, then it hasn't actually affected us because we're so small. But more than spending much. But one thing I have to say that's been the most interesting is all the time spent online.
Yeah.
That has changed.
Yeah.
Finding you guys,
Yeah.
and just I think 2 days before the Fashinnovation went on,
Yeah.
the live event was when I discovered you, and I was like, "Wow, this is
Yeah.
what I need to know. I need to be part of this." And I was glued for 2 hours or for 2 days
Yeah.
doing
Oh,
that. So
I'm so happy to hear that. Yeah.
yeah.
And I
So
think that, it's building our community more, right? Like people are,
absolutely. So
yeah.
thinking more about community building, and being. I think what's important. What has changed for me, and what I think is important to get out to other people too, is that don't be afraid to reach out to collaborate.
Yes.
Just do it, because
Oh my God.
what do you lose? You can only lose a no, and that's like, that's you can live with that.
I
So
love
if
that you
you,
just said that
am I
because that's
right?
the one thing I always say, and
Mm-hmm.
people, it's the best thing you can do,
Yeah,
honestly.
yeah.
There's
Whatever
nothing to
you do,
lose.
yeah.
Exactly.
There's nothing to lose if
Yeah.
you're
I
super
love that.
small and just want to know, or I think like never feel too small to ask any questions, like
I
to
love
people
that.
that seem like they have more experience or all
Yep.
that. Because we're, especially now when the playing field is leveled in an interesting way.
Completely. And people are
That,
more open to
yeah,
listening.
yeah. So I think
Yeah.
that's,
That's
in many
amazing.
ways, that's a brilliant starting place for all of us to communicate more.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
I've been speaking to some companies that feel like, there's a lot of seminars and talks out there right now that they speak, it's a lot of the really big, let's say, established companies speaking, and the startups are feeling a little bit of like a slot that they feel is missing when it comes to practical things that can be done being a small business to be able to get through this. What would you say, I know you mentioned that, you're really small, so it didn't affect you in the ways that maybe it's affecting other companies, but what would you say is something that you feel would be good to have more of when it comes to these live talks for, small brands like yourself?
Yeah, I know a few there that I thought about, and it's like to reach out to their communities and see really find out what their, you know, their friends, families, communities, and sort of their tribe of who would wear their clothes. Reach out to them when they have a pause and ask them, what would you want to see that we sell? Like, ask the customers and start that communication. Because I know, like, it's the tradition is more like, oh, if you're a designer, you're like, oh, I like this, I'm going to make this. But you have to, and after 20 years in trying to sell glass, been through like all of the custom orders and our own, ending up with having like no ego in terms of, you know, the design part of it and the ownership of it, then I say I've learned that it's always worth it to go out and ask people what they want. And by people feeling that they get asked, they also start having like a, you know, they start thinking about you and trusting you. So that communication, I think, is important. And also maybe in their communities, maybe they have organizations that are working for social good in other fields. Like I know, well, I had the opportunity to reach out and collaborate with and promote the Burlington girls soccer team, who worked really hard on, you know, awareness for equal pay, and they went viral, and, you know, we got to put the maker skirts on them, and that was fantastic. And then, you know, you start doing something and it just grows. And I know companies that are now, like, for example, another Dovetail Workwear, they do work pants. They collaborate a lot with organizations that promote, you know, women in the community, in different communities and such. So it's like, so thinking about those collaborations, and also reaching out to other small companies. I think now is the time to do that, and to ask them questions. Like, I know, well, I definitely reached out to a few, and I found that some places, when you get an answer, you find that, oh wow, the owner behind this brand is really a person, and you can talk to them and then go.
Really. What's your, I guess, plans for your brand, like future? Let's think like a year, 2 years down the line. What are you looking to do with the brand?
Well, my brand, I'm hoping to sort of grow, you know, a little grow in the direction of like building on that first original garment that we made, because now we have that maker skirt in 4 different fabrics, and we have we developed a full version with a bib for, you know, a little bit more messy workshops and such upon request. So we have in the pipeline, we have one garment that a flower company reached out to me, and they wanted to create in our sustainable material, a market sling where you carry flowers and stuff like that. And then,
oh, that's cute.
Yeah, and then we have some other, you know, the creative economy in Burlington, Vermont is very strong and alive and creative. So it's a perfect grow ground to reach out and be open to other designers and smaller companies who are interested in getting stuff made but don't know how to start. And then they'll come and talk to me and like, okay, well, it's fun. We can run a first run of like doing 100s and help them with that. So that service, I guess, you know, I'd like to grow that service a little bit as I slowly bring in more of the designs that's building.
So that makes sense. And looking at your brand and knowing your mission and the sustainability aspect, I think the collaborations could be really interesting too, you know, and other brands and like what you just mentioned. So I think
it could be smaller. Like at this point, we can really, with the production source that we have, you know, we could work with small companies. We can also work with bigger companies, which is so that would be amazing, like to work with a bigger company in the future, because the resources to do that are there. So we just have to.
Would you say, do you have like a wish list of like the bigger brands that you would want to eventually collaborate with, if you had to say 1 or 2?
Oh, that was so hard. Well, a lot. Well, Dovetail's definitely on the list, and they're not big. So, and I'm already talking about collaborating with them, but bigger companies on the wish list. Oh, that is super hard. Maybe, well, Patagonia is already doing so many good things, so it has to be a company that's not.
Yeah, that makes sense. So you can bring that to them, right?
Banana Republic, I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. but it's
maybe like a mainstream where you could bring in the sustainability
I'm
component.
thinking so. Like maybe a mainstream, like the Gap is doing that. I know with the fair trade.
Yeah,
USA. Oh, sorry.
it's okay. That happens all
Um,
the time.
but but I think I have to say that it started for me like once before I really went into it. I was looking for inspiration from all over the world, and I found two companies that work out of New Zealand
Mm-hmm.
to be the most inspiring for me. Like in terms of they were both working with they're working with social good projects, and they created aprons and kind of like work clothes and as well as basics. So, and that is one company is called Liminal New Zealand, and the other one's Little Yellow Bird, and those are they're still existing. But I found them way back. So I think that the way that they were working was kind of very inspiring to me because it's a little bit different. Yeah.
Yeah, somebody just said yes, New Zealand.
Yes, New Zealand. Yeah.
That's
great.
yeah. What do you think? So there's different people saying different things when it comes to sustainability and what's going to happen to it post COVID. What are your thoughts? Is sustainability going to be more in the forefront? Is it going to take a seat back? What are you thinking?
Oh, it's absolutely going to be like it's going to be the now, the present, like for a very long time.
Awesome.
Sustainability is here to stay, and it's really sustainability is the common sense, and it's absolutely here to stay.
Can you hear me? Yeah, froze for a minute. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So I happen to agree with you on that. I think that, we've never had this type of situation where the entire world literally got turned upside down and like shaped up so much. And so I think people are really starting to finally realize the importance of the earth and the environment and taking care of ourselves and all of that. And I don't think it's something that will be easily forget. People will forget about it.
No, I think I think definitely not opposite. It's like in times like this, it's almost like it gives us some clarity in terms of what is important and what is not.
Totally. It's like And Diane von Bristenberg, she stated that at the talk, saying that self-reflection right now is what all of us have time to do, and we should all be doing it for different reasons.
Yeah, and I think it's like so inspiring to hear that so many people are like realizing that they can do so much more than they thought that they could do.
Yeah, completely, 100%.
Stepping up to.
That's amazing. So I'm gonna actually ask here if anybody has any questions that they would like to ask, and then we could read them. You could write it in the chat box. You can put it on the question box. We'd be happy to answer any questions, anything that you want to know about Tove as a brand. I mean, you guys are doing incredible work. I really, really
thank you. Definitely reach out to me because I'd love to help out in any way I can in terms of answering questions from doing this.
That's awesome. So if you guys don't know how to ask a question now, but you want to ask later, just they could send you a message, on like direct message.
Yeah, direct message, or also via the website Tove by Design.
So here we have someone, AA Exposure, who says, I think COVID-19 is shining a light on the need for sustainability and a complete overhaul of the fashion industry. Agreed. Yeah.
It was needed. I mean, it was bound to happen.
100%. Yeah. And you have to look at the positive, right? And all the negative that's going on around the world. You have to try to shine some light on, being optimistic, being hopeful. But yeah, this was such a great chat. Do you have anything else that you want to share as far as where can people find you? Is Instagram the best route?
Instagram definitely works. It's a good place, and also we automatically are there on Facebook, but also the tovebydesign.com. It's a good place to find us, and we do have the website makerskirt.com as well.
Okay.
To just run a little bit of what else is happening with a skirt as we're doing social good projects and stuff like that. So that's another one.
Amazing. And do you ship worldwide? I forgot to ask.
Oh yeah, we ship everywhere. We sell mostly from our online store, a little bit here in Burlington, Vermont, locally. But one thing I wanted to say also is that I was really excited the day that I got invited from the Canvas. Devin Gilmartin from the Canvas by Querencia invited us to be part of that, and that the whole philosophy behind that really rhymes
They're
well with
amazing.
me. So I think that's kind of the future of fashion as well.
Yes,
The way
100%.
so
Their
that
work is phenomenal. Yeah, we actually
amazing. Like the
give
new
them.
generation, they know how to do it.
Yeah, it's amazing. We actually had our one of our live events. We had like our after cocktail reception at the Canvas
Yeah.
in
Oh,
Brooklyn. Yeah, so we love them. They do incredible work
they
for sure.
really do. They
Yeah,
know what it all is about. So.
yeah, and I also want to give a quick, just for you to know too, and I think she's still on, and if she's not, I'll connect you. But Lily Clark came in here.
Mm-hmm.
We have one more question that came in, but Lily Clark, she's a lady in Brazil, and she
Yep.
owns a movement called the Real Ethical Fashion Movement,
Mm-hmm.
and it's an incredible, fully sustainable event in Brazil, and I think that you should definitely connect with her. So
Oh,
I'm
I would
gonna
love to do
make
that.
sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So here, what are your thoughts on circular fashion?
Uh, well, I mean, it's just amazing. It's also like something that um, it's like it's part of the whole package. It
Yeah.
has to also, you know, exist and will exist in the future. So
Yeah. And then let's see, I just want to finish off with this. We need to get back to the seasons as opposed to the ridiculous number of new fashion drops. We need to return to simplicity. I actually agree
oh yes,
heartily with that. Yeah. And I
that's
think yeah, go ahead.
that's no that's I've never really thought about that piece, but that's one of the things that came up as a with these garments like the maker skirt, for example. It's like
Yeah.
I have, you know, it gets cold up here in Vermont. I have friends who wear like, you know, thick wool long johns, and then they wear a maker skirt on top of it, and they go out like that in the winter, and they're
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, finally something that I can wear in the winter. And then
Yeah.
obviously, so it's great over pants, tights, and then you can just wear it on its own as well. So I think that's another thing that we'll see more of in the future of
Yeah.
fashion. Clothes that are
Right.
like multi-use,
Yes.
functional,
Yes.
that you can sort of, you have some staple items that will go with like everything that you have and are just like there for whatever season. So yeah,
Yeah.
uh,
And I think
definitely.
consumers are going to stop buying so much of stuff and buy things that they actually need.
Mhm. Yeah.
And yeah, so I think that
Mhm.
that's going to be a nice shift for sure.
And to use what you have, because first and foremost, that's like, okay, everybody has a lot
Yeah,
of stuff already, so figure out new ways of wearing what you have,
completely. Yeah,
give it
exactly.
away, or save it, and you know,
Yeah,
all those pieces. So
yeah, like they do a global fashion exchange.
yes, yes. Mm-hmm.
It's an incredible initiative too. I've
Yeah.
been doing that amongst my family actually. Me and my sisters, we switched off. I don't remember the last time I bought a piece of clothing,
No, but
truthfully.
see, yeah, having siblings, that's a good way of doing it.
Yeah,
I remember like my mom saved everything from when we were kids and babies, and you know, it was amazing to bring that out when you became a parent yourself, because it was like,
yeah,
oh my God, it's so cute. It's from the 70s. So like
totally.
the fact that fashion goes in cycles is like, you know, it's
100%.
really great to save things and put them away. And
Yeah.
like, so
And we just have one more. I'll finish off
yeah.
this one. Do you think runway is relevant to the times?
Runway as if,
Runway shows.
oh, yeah, I think they could be. I actually have no experience of runway shows, so I'm the wrong person to
So
answer that. But I do, because it's like important to see things. Maybe, of course, they can be changed into being more collaborative and transparent and sustainable. Of
yeah,
yeah.
I think when it comes to runway shows, and I keep mentioning
Mm-hmm.
Diane because I was just flabbergasted, amazing. Her talk was just incredible.
Mm-hmm.
But as she said, you know, the runway shows they started off with like a purpose, and that purpose got
Yeah.
diluted with a lot of people making it a trend and just wanting to get a picture of themselves as if though it was like the cool thing to be at, and so
Mm-hmm.
it lost its purpose, and through that it became something that you know just didn't make sense anymore. And so if they can take it back to what it was there originally for, because runway shows are a beautiful part of fashion history and
Yeah.
there is something really nice about it. So for me, I think it should still happen.
Mm-hmm.
I think that it should be for the purpose that it was originated for. And I think also on a sustainability angle, and I don't know if this is something that's possible, but what I thought of the other day is because, you know, they make these collections for the runway and then they never wear it again, most unlikely, and then it goes to waste. Why not just make that specific collection for the runway sustainable so that it can be repurposed after the show? So then you're
Yeah.
right? So there's ways to innovate around it where it would still make sense and be a really beautiful thing.
Yeah, or auction it out or something like that. But be creative
Yeah.
about it, because I mean, you have to have runways to show like the, I mean, just the whole imaginative piece around it, and that stuff that makes me happy. So yeah,
exactly. Yeah. So that's awesome. This is so great. I'm so happy to have had you on. It was a really
thank
good
you. This is very
conversation.
exciting to talk to you.
Yeah, and we're gonna save this for 24 hours so people will be coming in. So again, if you want Tove by Design, thank you. A exposure. So yeah, so I think reach out, DM her, tovebydesign.com. The skirts are incredible. I'm sure everything you'll do from now on will be incredible as well. But I wish you like really the best of luck, and we'll do whatever we can to support on our end. And we appreciate everybody coming on today.
Yeah, thank you everyone for coming and listening to us. That was really cool.
That was fun.
Jolana, thank you so much. This was very cool. It's my first live feed ever, so.
Of course. No, you did a great job. You're a natural.
Thank you.
We'll talk soon. Bye. Bye everyone. Stay safe.
Thank you. Stay safe, everyone.